Trump. Congressman, let me switch gears a little bit, because the other critically important piece of news that we were digesting at the end of this week was this ODNI, the Director of Intelligence estimate report saying that the Russians are, in fact, trying to interfere in the election and that other adversaries are interested in seeing President Trump reelected. What, in your role on the Intelligence Committee, can you do to try to push back against this? Senator Blumenthal is calling for a declassification of these materials. What's the next step here, just, a few months before the election?
Well, most importantly, the American public needs to know what's going on. And if I might just correct something you said, the Russians are not trying to interfere in the election of 2020. They are interfering, right? And if you read carefully Bill Evanina's memo, which is public, you can see it on the ODNI's website, the way he talks about Russia, that Russia is actually conducting operations using Americans to denigrate Joe Biden. And we all know what that means because, in the Intelligence Committee, Durkash, who was mentioned by name, he's this pro-Russian Ukrainian legislator, mailed a package to none other than Ranking Member Devin Nunes. We saw the FedEx receipt that said it was received. These operations are underway. And they are being channeled by my Republican colleagues into saying, like, oh, don't look over here. Look at the fact, look at this fantastical notion that it was actually Ukraine that interfered in the 2016 election. So that operation is underway. And yes, then Evanina goes on to say the Chinese would probably rather not see Donald Trump reelected, but they're not doing operations. They're weighing whether they do operations. And the Iranians, of course, don't much like us. So they're doing something out there, but not actually conducting operations in the way the Russians are. So the next step is for the American people to really understand what this looks like. And that's why I actually celebrate that second letter that was a lot more specific than the first statement that he made. Americans need to understand what it looks like, that what you read about Joe Biden on some website or that you get in the Facebook or quite frankly, it could be on either side. It quite possibly could be a foreign power trying to change your opinion, trying to get you fired up and influence the way you act as an American citizen. If it requires some declassification, again, it's our job to protect sources and methods. But if it requires some declassification for Americans to see in even greater detail, yeah, we should do that, because Americans really need to understand what this looks like.
Do you think that the social media companies, where a lot of people are getting this information, in which the Russians, we know, have been using, do they understand the nature of the threat? Are they actually working, in your opinion, in good faith and in a significant enough way to make a difference?
Well, I guess what I'm willing to say there is that they've learned some of the lessons of 2016. I mean, some of this Facebook stuff in 2016, where they were taking payments for ads in rubles, you sort of say, wait, these people are supposed to be smart. But I think they have learned a lot. And the whole Cambridge Analytica scandal, that seems like a million years ago, but they have learned a lot. But they are still the vehicle by which Russia or anybody else tries to get Americans fired up around misinformation. So they have to do better. And I know that they're trying. Twitter is not taking political ads. They are trying. But we are talking about the integrity of our democracy. I mean, what is more precious to us as Americans than that? So they've got to try harder.
All right, Congressman Jim Himes, thank you very much. It's always great to have you on the program. I really appreciate your insights.